Everyone, welcome back to Realpolitik. Today is May the 18th, 2023. Before we start, please like and subscribe and let's get right into it. Okay, so in Simferopol in Crimea, a train was derailed in a sabotage attack by Ukrainian partisans. And basically in Bakhmut, if we look at Bakhmut, essentially, it's the end of the line for the Ukrainians. This in blue, it's what the Russians, Wagner PMC, have been able to, the territory they've been able to gain in the last 2, 3 days. And essentially, the Ukrainians are now on the outskirts. Some sources are saying that they're basically retreating, but then it seems that, according to some sources, they're still sending in troops, and I have no clue why they would want to do that. But basically, the Russians have cut off one of the main roads leading in and out of the city. They've gotten to the road itself, to this intersection, and I mean, there's not much left for the Ukrainians to do. They're just right on the outskirts, and if we look at this map right here, we can see the progress. Now, of course, the Ukrainians launched a little counteroffensive a few days ago, but almost a week ago, but it's pretty much fizzled out. But let's take a look at the progress overall. So today's the 18th, on the 7th, about 10 days ago. So let's just go forward and see how it developed. So you can see that, yeah, the Ukrainians made some progress in the north and the south, and they were able to push the Russians away from this road that connects to Ivanivske and then Bakhmut. And some people believe that they did this. The whole point of this operation was to free up the roads. There's also this road that they freed up right here. So, but if they're still sending some troops into the city, then that kind of wouldn't make sense. But anyways, the Wagner PMC right now, what they're doing is they're attacking the Ukrainians during the day and at night. They have night crews which operate at night. They have night vision goggles and specialized equipment and gear. And so the Russians are relentless, and the Ukrainians, it's basically a game over for them, right? The State Department wanted them to withdraw months ago, but to preserve their manpower and whatnot, but they didn't. And anyways, in terms of what comes next after Bakhmut, after the center of the city is taken, the Russians are probably going to send some of their units from the center to the flanks to retake this area in the north. Probably some units to the south, and then yeah, I'll show you on this map. So they're going to send some units south, and then they're going to attack Ivanivske from both sides, from the south and from the east as well. So that's one goal. And then another goal would be, a major goal would be to take this slope right here, this slope line you see, and that would give the Russians a nice, it would be a very nice defensive position to take. Of course, to do that, they would have to take Kromove, so the Russians will have to launch a counteroffensive in the north as well as in the south. But um, I mean, the Ukrainians with this little counteroffensive, they haven't taken any settlements. It seems like they're getting closer and closer to Klishivka now. A few days ago, a video emerged. I can't show on this channel, showing a trench line right around here, and it was like a quadcopter drone, a Russian quadcopter drone, taking this footage, and there were dozens of dead Ukrainians in those trenches, probably from an artillery strike. Probably they were lured in. The Russians left the the Russians probably left those trenches on purpose. The Ukrainians went in. And I've seen similar videos like that. So some people are saying that this counteroffensive wasn't really worth it for the Ukrainians because of the number of manpower that they've lost. But who knows? Maybe one day we will find out for sure. And also, there's this map. You can see it's very similar to what I've drawn. Basically, you can see this is claimed Russian gains. In the red, it's verified. In the blue, it's what the Ukrainians have taken back. Very similar to this map, except, well, if you consider what I've drawn in. And this is the ISW map, by the way. This is the deep state map, and this is the live UA map. They're all pretty much pro-Ukrainian. I mean, this map right here is run by the owner's Ukrainian, and just the way they refer to everything. I mean, Crimea, for example, they say occupied Crimea, like here. Train derailed after railway was blown up near Simferopol in occupied Crimea. So, anyways, so 2 nights ago, the Russians launched a massive barrage of missiles at Kiev. And the Ukrainians at first claimed they shot down everything, all the drones and all of the missiles, including 6 Kinzhal missiles, hypersonic missiles. And the Russians then said that they had destroyed, or they had destroyed one Patriot battery and damaged another. And of course, there's been footage which has been released, which seems to kind of counteract or it goes against the Ukrainian narrative pretty much. I've shown this video before, but basically, in this video, the Patriot batteries, the Patriot battery defending the city, it launches like, or it's like two launchers. Each launcher has like 16 missiles or something, and more than 30 missiles get launched during this video. And then at one point you can see a bunch of missiles actually falling down. I've shown this video before in previous videos of mine. But basically, yeah, like this right here, you see it falling down. And then in the end, once all the missiles have been unloaded, you see right here this kind of a flash in the same area where the missiles were launched from. See right there? So, based on that, and also we're seeing some missiles, pictures of missiles on the streets of Kiev, $5 million a piece. And here's something interesting. Right now, if you look at this chart, the Ukrainians, the Americans, they're not producing more than 300 Patriot missiles a year. You can see in 2021, probably due to the war in Yemen, they produced more, right? And from what I'm hearing, they're producing around 300 a year. But in that video, the Ukrainians unloaded 30 in like 2 minutes. So you got to think about how sustainable that is in the long run. It doesn't seem sustainable to me. And then here's another picture of another missile, another $5 million that just fell into a field. So And now the Russian MOD, Ministry of Defense, has come out and said, by the way, Brian Berletic, he has a channel on YouTube. You guys can check him out. He has a very interesting analysis. And anyways, according to the Russian MOD, the Kinzhal hypersonic missile system hit and completely destroyed a multifunctional radar station, as well as 5 launchers of U.S. manufactured Patriot surface-to-air missile system in Kiev. And of course, the Ukrainians are denying it. And then today, they actually arrested some younger war bloggers, pro-Ukrainian war bloggers, and they're blaming them for basically they're saying because of the info they released, the Russians found out where the Patriot batteries were deployed. But I don't buy it because Russia has its own network of spies in the city. Russia has people working on the inside, like guaranteed they do, right? And at the same time, Russia has satellites that could read markers on gravestones. So I just don't believe that it's because of those kids. But in Ukraine, it's actually illegal to release anything like this. Releasing a video like this, it's illegal. You're not supposed to. And the Russians released a video, uh, kind of paying homage to Street Fighter, and I'll play it for you guys. Or yeah, Street Fighter.
Round 1. Fight.
I don't want to get a copyright strike, but yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of a funny video. Winner, Caliber cruise missiles. Round 2. The Kinzhal hit the target. It's funny. People do in their spare time. So yeah, it seems that in Ukraine, the Kiev authorities began to turn off street cameras, the broadcast from which can be watched online. Most likely, this decision was made after a video of the operation of the American Patriot Air defense system filmed by one of the street cameras appeared on the network. So there's that. And all over Ukraine again, last night, again, the Russians launched missiles at various targets in Kiev, in Kharkiv, the city of Kharkiv, and notably in Odessa as well. And yeah, let's look at some footage of Bakhmut, and then we'll look at some footage of the strikes on Odessa. But you can see the buildings in Bakhmut are just are basically just ruins. This is 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, evening, 1500 hours. And this is Russian artillery targeting. This is the last area where the Ukrainians are basically holding out, that narrow strip that they are still controlling. And the Russians are just pounding them with artillery ruthlessly, relentlessly. And honestly, they must be taking some serious losses. There's just no way that, you have a position, a narrow strip of land, and it gets hit by artillery. And then there's the TOS flamethrower systems, which vaporizes people alive. And then there's the Fab 500 with 1,000-pound payload. I mean, they're just hitting the Ukrainians with everything but the kitchen sink. So there's just, I mean, I don't understand why the Ukrainians are still there. I don't get it. But that basically was just give me a here. That was basically this strip of land right here that the Ukrainians still control. Anyways, let's look at some footage of what happened in Odessa. So large explosions in Odessa, not the best footage, but not the best quality, but pretty significant explosions. No sound anyways. Yeah, not the best quality, but that's Odessa. Let's look at the road, one of the last roads in and out of Bakhmut. This is a BTR armored vehicle. And then there's a few more BTRs. So it seems based on this that the Ukrainians are still sending equipment because people keep track of this stuff and these are all new. So looks like these guys are probably leaving Bakhmut. Um, yeah, I don't understand why the Ukrainians would be doing that. Anyways, also for those of you who have not been keeping track of what's been going on, if you haven't been keeping track, just 3, 4 days ago in the west of Ukraine, in the cities of Ternopil and Kamenetsky, there were some massive mushroom clouds. Allegedly, $500 million worth of ammunition that was given to Ukraine by NATO was destroyed. Let's take a look at what happened in Kremenensky. And you can see, I've shown this in previous videos. If you watch my videos, if you keep up to date. But yeah, I mean, look at the size of the buildings and look at that. It's a massive mushroom cloud. Just holy fuck, just massive. And then there's another explosion. I mean, that looks like a nuclear strike. And there were several of these in both of those cities, Ternopil and Kamenensky. Anyways, there's that. Um, and then last night, I mean, this doesn't end, right? In Mykolaiv or Nikolaev, not sure which one's the correct pronunciation or spelling, but in Nikolaev, wait, this happened, this explosion. So the Russians are just going on a rampage. I mean, apparently a lot of these are just ammunition dumps, ammunition depots. So, because without ammunition, an army can't really do much, right? So, and that one big mushroom cloud in Kremenensky, that was allegedly a lot of the ammunition, most of the ammunition, some say, that was meant for the upcoming counteroffensive. Uh, so that puts the Ukrainians in a tough situation. I mean, people underestimate Russia's capabilities. Russia could do a lot, you know. The pro-Ukrainian, pro-NATO crowd narrative is that Russia's weak and this and that, but I'm telling you, the Russians, if they really wanted to, they could basically, and I'm just telling you guys the truth, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but they could destroy every bridge over the Dnieper. See, the Dnieper River basically splits Kiev, it splits Zaporizhia, Dnipro. Uh, it basically splits the country into east and west, right? And the Russians, if they wanted to, they could destroy every bridge over the Dnieper. They could probably do it in one night if they really wanted to, right? And that would basically cripple Ukraine. That would cause a massive humanitarian catastrophe. But I don't think the Russians want to do that because, in the big picture, this war is going to last how long? Another year, two, what? How long will it last? And then after that, Russia's going to have a poor, crippled, and destitute country right on its doorstep. I mean, they don't, it doesn't make sense politically in the long run, but who knows? That's just what I think. Anyways, a lot of the pro-Ukrainian crowd are celebrating the fact that, according to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, Ukraine has now eliminated 200,000 Russian troops. And just today, this is from the 17th, today's the 18th, but just yesterday, I guess, 600 more killed. I don't buy that I don't buy this number because the ratio of killed in action to wounded, captured, or missing is 1 to 3. For every one killed, there's 3 that are either wounded, captured, or missing. Uh, that's just the rule of thumb in military affairs, military doctrine. That's actually a NATO standard, I believe. But that means that just based on this, roughly the Russians have 600,000 who are wounded, captured, or missing, right? And add up the total number of casualties. If this many Russians have been killed, it would mean that the casualty rate of killed in action, missing in action, wounded in action, and captured soldiers is 800,000. Now, arguably, the Russians haven't even deployed that many troops, and even if they have deployed more, that would be most of what they've deployed. So, what are you telling me? They're all dead, or they're all crippled or dead? That doesn't make sense, right? Then there's this source, Media Zona. It's actually based out of, I believe, Estonia, one of the Baltic states. I'm pretty sure it's Estonia. Funded by the BBC. This is a media outlet, Media Zona, funded by the BBC. BBC is anti-Putin. Estonia is anti-Putin. This is an anti-Putin source, okay? They're saying that based on verifiable evidence. So let's say funeral listings, obituary stuff that can be verified, right? Like even social media posts that confirm funerals, stuff like that. Based on that, there are 22,000 Russian casualties altogether. So that would mean, using the 3-to-1 ratio, there's something like, 5 to 6,000 Russian dead. Now, the real number might be a lot higher. Yeah, it could be way higher. But, I mean, this is casualties. This is everything, right? Missing, captured, injured, dead, everything. So, you want to go twice as high? You want to go 4 times as high? That's still 80,000. Even if you go 4 times higher, that's still 80,000. And the Ukrainians say 200,000. So that's why I don't buy it, right? But that is just my opinion. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, please comment and share the video with anyone and everyone. And I will see you guys in the next one.